statue, Liberty started shaking her fist, and the eagle will fly, and it's gonna be here. I brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Whoops, you caught me. Welcome to Veterans Issues. I'm Ken Rollins. Today's guest is Brenda Steadham. She's an attorney here in Anniston. We're going to talk about veteran stuff. Get your pen. Be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins. And today we're going to talk with Brenda Steadham. She's a former judge here. She's got her own law practice now in Anniston, and we're going to welcome her back to the show. Welcome, Brenda. Last time you was on here, you was a judge.
That's right.
That's right. Now you've moved up to got your own. You're not having to deal with that.
That's
you deal
right.
with it as you choose.
That's exactly right. I get to choose the
How's
cases.
the law business?
I love it.
Got
I really
a lot of
do.
customers?
Yes, and I love working with people and trying to solve their problems.
Yeah. Well, from a judge's bench, you don't get to do as much of that. This is where you can sit down and somebody's got a and I don't know what type of law do you practice? All types? Or?
Yes,
Okay.
but just about everything.
Well, that one that I was last involved in was doing a will.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to tell you, I had such an awakening to find out the way you write a will. You know, you have to write people out of it.
Exactly.
I deal with so many veterans that die, and then the crowd comes in and tries to take everything. If they go into probate, but if you write them out, it eliminates that. So I can give some legal advice on that. But welcome back to the show, and today we're going to talk about a lot of things, and the one I saw on your site was Out of the Shadows.
Right.
And I think I got some ideas, but I don't. You and I haven't talked about it, so I'd like to know what is this Out of the Shadows program you're talking about?
A group of mental health advocates in this area who represent the Community Foundation, RMC, Highland Health, JSU, got together and felt that there was a need to educate folks, to help folks feel that they could ask for help and remove the stigma from mental health. So we want to bring people out of the shadows of their illness and into the light and help plug them in to where they need to be so they can get treatment.
Well, that's the key word, stigma. You know, with the post-traumatic stress disorder that has been around for so many years with us Vietnam veterans is the stigma of being called crazy. You know, well, he's crazy because he's into mental health, and it's not like. But if he was missing a legs, society would accept and honor that.
Right.
But the wounds that we're talking about are not visible like that.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But if they have diabetes or if they have some other problem, some other medical problem, we say that's fine. But you know what? Mental health issues are things that are just as real. They are just as real as any other medical issue. And we hope through this program to help people begin to focus on how important it is to get help, that you will be encouraged and supported and assisted in getting where you need to be and educated about what you need to be educated about so that we can start talking about it in the open. When I was a young child, mental illness was thought to be some kind of character flaw.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not.
Well, it goes with the word crazy.
Right.
And you know, I had a deal with Governor Bentley several years ago. I was trying to we got people in churches and Walmarts and places like that. They don't understand, and law enforcement don't understand to some extent PTSD, the anger, the anxiety, the things that goes with that.
Right.
That the person, Johnny and Jenny, sit on the front row of church. He goes to Afghanistan and comes back, he sits in the back of the church. And the church starts, oh, Johnny's lost it. No, Johnny don't want his back exposed now.
Right.
But his salvation is there even more than it was when he left.
Right.
But we have to make the church understand, the people that they deal with needs to understand.
Right.
So what y'all doing, is this going to go out and to the community? Is that?
Well, our program will be next Friday from 8 until 4 at JSU in the library. But we will have a number of different programs for different people. We'll start off with a keynote speaker who is a bipolar young lady. She's a great recent graduate of Auburn University, and she likes to talk about that. Then we'll have a number of breakout sessions, and we'll have a breakout session that Dr. Christopher Randolph, our local psychiatrist, is going to run on medications. We'll have a program put on by Dr. Joe Howell, who's a psychologist. We'll have Dr. Turner from JSU, who will talk about suicide prevention. We will have someone come and talk about stress relief, which is really important. We'll have several programs for family support on how families can get the help they need to deal with it. Because mental illness is not just the illness of one person. It affects the whole family.
And the friends and
Right.
the young fellows I had on here had TBI, traumatic brain injury. There's a memory situation goes there. Then there's also anxiety and all that with the TBI.
Sure.
Again, they can't see that, but
Right.
it affects a lot of marriages.
It does.
You forgot that on purpose. You forgot
Right.
that. No, I'm just saying that's one of the things they hear. The veteran who has
Right.
TBI has memory problems, short memory, and the wife will tell him something, and then he
yeah.
don't do it, and then
Right.
she says, "You forgot that on
Right.
purpose," and it ends up to problems within the marriage.
Right.
So the seminar, the program that you're presenting, it sounds to me like the spouse should be there with that person
Absolutely.
to learn what the symptoms are and
Absolutely.
how to deal with them.
Absolutely. We want consumers, that is people that have mental illnesses, they will pay $5 for the whole day. They'll get a free lunch. We want professionals like social workers and nurses and law enforcement to come, and we want families to come. We want anybody who's interested in mental health issues, and we want to help provide the education that all of those groups need in order to begin to talk about it in a different way than we have in the past.
Well, I like the fact you said the consumers and the businesses. There's one down the road here that's a huge employer that will terminate you if you have PTSD, and it made the papers here a while back. But you, from their perspective, do I give this person this much responsibility when they have a mental disorder? I go to the VA for my regular treatment. I'm 100% disabled. I go in, the first thing they ask me, do you still have a weapon? Yes, I do. Where's it located? You know, have you had suicidal thoughts? Have you had
Right.
homicide? You know, that's part of who we are today.
Right.
But I don't look at them that they look at me crazy, but some people do that. You know, I'm not crazy.
Right.
And when you ask me about my gun, when you ask me about, you
Right.
know, those kind of things. And
Right.
the symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, you know, your anxiety, your anger, those,
Right.
all, you can put a mixture together right and paint a picture.
Right.
Family needs to know what they're doing.
Absolutely. And if the families understand it, then they're less likely to look at that family member as if they're crazy.
Right.
Because when these folks come back from Afghanistan or Iraq or wherever they've been, they have serious problems, and nobody in that family understands it.
Right.
And by looking at them as if they're crazy, then that compounds the problem. So education is really key.
Yeah, I had a young fellow say, I'm the same person that went to Afghanistan, but I'm different. I figured that out.
Right.
You know, he's, but he comes back home, he or she comes back home to a mundane life after they've been on the adrenaline rush.
Right.
Somebody has got to understand that. Well, we got less than 30 seconds. I want to make sure that people, that the spouses can come to this with the veteran,
Absolutely.
male or female, and they need to do that.
Yes.
Because in order for that person to heal, they need everybody around them to understand. We got to go to a break. They always
Okay.
have to do that, pay the bill. We'll be right back after this. More Brenda. Ben. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. We're talking with Brenda Stedham, attorney here in Anniston. We're talking about PTSD and amongst other things. With a program that's coming up. When is the date on that?
It's May the 19th, which is a week from Friday. It will begin at 8 o'clock, although we will have some on-site registration at 7:45. And I forgot to say, there'll be a continental breakfast that's available too. And so the consumers pay $5 for the whole day, for the breakfast, for the lunch, and the programs.
Is that biscuit and gravy?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not in charge of that part of it.
I've never seen a continental breakfast have that.
And so it'll last until 4 o'clock. We'll have a series of 4 different breakout sessions that will be going all the time. So you get to pick and choose which ones you want to attend.
This is out at the Cole Library out there in JSU on the
Yes, JSU Library on the 11th floor.
11th floor.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I've been
And
up
you-
there.
I bet you
I went through
have.
trainings out there for the depot.
Oh, good.
We had to go out there for a week. We couldn't have contact with nobody at the depot during that time, during our leadership training out there.
My
Yeah,
goodness.
it was 11th floor. It was nice view when you go out on
Right,
the
it is. It is.
Go ahead.
And so registration is primarily online. So if you'll go to the JSU website and look for Out of the Shadows, it'll pop up and you can do the registration online. And we urge you to do that so that we will know how many meals to have available.
Who's doing the program? Some of the speakers you got. You told me that some of the people, I think,
Yes, sir.
they're from.
We have a veterans justice outreach person, Ahmad Brewer, who worked with me on the first veterans treatment court. He's a great guy, and he will be talking about.
He's out of Birmingham,
He's
VA.
out of Birmingham, VA, sure is, and he'll be talking about the special program that the VA has for helping people who are coming out of prison and jail, to help them with their homelessness issues, with their mental health issues, and anything else that they have going on. And so he'll do a great job. We also have a lady from the VA who is going to be talking about veterans benefits generally. Her name is Felicia Price Underwood.
I know Felicia.
Do you? And so she'll do a great job. Other speakers are Chaplain Jim Wilson from RMC. He's going to talk about spirituality and mental illness, how spirituality can play a role in coping with mental illness. We have Tim Rolfe, R-O-L-F-E, from the depot, who's going to talk about resiliency for families, because families really suffer when their family member is suffering, and they oftentimes don't know how to deal with it, and they end up not taking care of themselves, which doesn't help the whole
Let me
process.
interrupt you there.
Yes,
Because,
sir.
well, I'll forget it. When you said the spiritual part about it, just the other day, a couple of days ago, my daughter was on the phone with one of her little friends talking suicide that. And I passed on to her to make sure that she hang up that phone. You hang it up with one thing. You let her know that she's never alone.
Right.
She will always have a voice to talk. She won't hear
Right.
it audible.
Right.
She won't hear a noise come out of the thing, but she's always got a friend to talk to and that understands. You can talk to a lot of people, they don't understand it, but there's somebody, if you get your spiritual life together and somebody brings spiritual into that person's life, for some of them with PTSD, the best thing a spouse can do is get spiritual help.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
That gives you somebody, that friend that you always needed and understands your situation.
That's right. And Chaplain Wilson works with the folks who are at RMC for treatment for mental illness, and so he's very well familiar with these issues. As I said, Dr. Tommy Turner is going to speak, and I really like the name of his talk. It's Inescapable, Intolerable, Interminable Suicide Prevention.
I'm
And
not
he's
going to
got-
try that no way.
Yeah. Well, he's going to talk about the nature of suicide, the symptoms, some suicide assessment tools that just Joe Blow like me can understand, and some intervention tools so that we can know when we need to try to intervene and what we can do to help.
Well, there's a lady that's on the show here not too long ago. She, her son was in the Marine Corps, and he was having problems, and she kept on, you got to get some help, got to get some help. And finally, that day came, he went to his first counseling session. He came home and killed himself.
Oh, no.
So you never know what's going on up there. I mean,
don't.
you may hear something in there that shows you hope, and then you may hear something in there that's the reason the spouse, if they can go with them
Right.
to hear and be part of the counseling, part of that recovery program. It's no different than sitting bedside and furnishing them, giving them a drink of water when they need it.
That's exactly right.
You know, that's
exactly
medical care. So you give them the comfort they need to get them through that little hump. Sometimes they hit bumps in the road.
Right.
But don't make them feel like they fell in the ditch. Say, oh, that's just a bump. Come on, let's go.
Exactly.
You know, that's what you got to have, is the understanding. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just go out there and wave it to all the public and say, understand these folks?
Absolutely.
But you got the Veterans Justice Outreach. Now, what is that? The Veterans Justice Outreach, are they providing legal help for?
No, they don't. But what they do is a minimum number of days before you're released from prison or jail, they'll come in and assess. They will help plug you into services. They will help you get your DD 214 if you don't have it. They will help you access medical care of all kinds. If you are homeless, they'll help you with that. They actually have a program for homeless veterans that is a part of this.
Yeah.
And
well, a lot of people don't realize when someone is incarcerated. I've got an incarcerated program down at Atmore, and those folks have been in there for 10 to 15 years. They've been emailed, Skyping, and Twitter, and whatever. You go up to an old boy that's been locked up for about 15 years, say, I want to Twitter you, you're liable to get knocked down.
Right.
So now they bring them into Montgomery, and they decipher them. They get them back into how to write checks, how to balance out, things like that. They did a couple weeks before they're released because they've just been away from society so long. They only know that prison life, so it's a great deal there that they're doing that.
Right. And, you know, people who come out of prison and jail, depending on what their charges are, may not be able to find a job because of their record. But
here's another, you know, people coming out of Afghanistan, is you get on the interstate, there's an acceleration lane where you can get up to speed. Coming out, there's a decelerate. Well, they don't have anything. They come right out of Afghanistan, right back to Oxford and Anniston, Alabama, and they're still on adrenaline flow. So we got to decelerate them somehow, let them wind down and get back into the traffic of the everyday life, the mundane life that we live.
That's exactly right. I have a little quick quote. Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which has the potential to turn a life around. That was Leo Buscaglia. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his name, but I thought that was a great quote.
I've ate his pizza before.
I thought that was a great quote.
That is absolutely, that little smile, a little extra pay it forward type thing. We're less than a minute. What am I missing on here? You had the community residential care.
Right.
We didn't address that.
Right.
But we got a few seconds to.
So Ahmad Brewer and his folks will help get these veterans into that program. It's a housing program, and help them get settled in until they can move on to something else. Right.
Well, I appreciate you being on there. Wait a minute, I got to get my stress.
Thank you so much.
The folks that's watching, they know exactly what I got right here. I was sitting here on the table fidgeting. We got to go to a break, come back. I got news that you can use. Stay right there. I'll be right back. We got to put this down for a while. I want to thank Brenda Stedham for coming on and giving us that good information today, and hope you can use it. If you got any questions about what we talked about here, my information is on the screen. It's that you can pull it up there and give me a call, and I can put you back in touch with Brenda and all the programs you're doing. Now, this week, the 5th, there's a lot going on. She was talking about the 19th. On the 15th through the 19th of May, we have the Law Enforcement Week, and we got a lot of things going on. On the 17th, we've got John Merrill up here, Secretary of State. On the 19th, we have Steve Marshall, who's the Attorney General, that's going to be your speaker at 11 o'clock in Centennial Memorial Park here in Anniston. So if you want to be a part of that, you're welcome to do that. And on the 17th, the thing with John Merrill, we're going to feed the veterans and the military all over at the City Meeting Center up on Noble Street. If you'd like to be a part of that, going up at noontime on the 17th. We're building the Firefighters Memorial for the state of Alabama up there in the park with the rest of them. And we've got the funds to go forward on that, so I've already given the contractor the go-ahead. So if you see some construction up there in the park in the next few months, that's what we're doing. We're building the official firefighters memorial for the state of Alabama up there in Centennial Memorial Park. Don't forget this, on Memorial Day, the 29th at 11 o'clock is our Memorial Day service that we have every year. And got some good entertainment this year. And it's going to be different than what we had in the past, but it'd be good or better, gooder. And so that's at 11 o'clock on the 29th up in Centennial Memorial Park and in Anniston. So, and the director of the Birmingham VA, Mr. Smith, will be on here next month. I believe it's like the 6th or 7th. And if you've got any questions for the director, I want you to give me a call at my contact number here, or email me or whatever, text me. You got a question for the director of the VA hospital, just give me a call and I'll make sure to ask them here on, if they're okay, I'll ask them on the, during the taping. So you keep that in mind, the first week of June. And remember, when you get ready to purchase your next car tag, automobile tag, that the law enforcement tag, the revenue from that tag goes for the memorials up there in the park. And that's how we was able to build the law enforcement, and how we're going to build the firefighter memorial off the revenue from that law enforcement tag. Now, you don't have to be in law enforcement to get the tag, but it does say to someone when they see that shield and the rose on the back of it, it says, "I support those who gave their life in the line of duty," and that's what that shield and rose is about. So kind of think about it the next time you get ready to do a tag. Veterans, you got to get that choice card. The choice program has changed a lot, but it's changed for the better. So call the VA, 205-933-8101, and ask them for the choice program and find out what you got to do to get your choice card. And once you get that, you can go to your local doctor for treatment versus going all the way to Birmingham or whatever. So I use it a lot, so it does work. And you get to use your doctor you get to keep your doctor as opposed to having to go to the VA in Birmingham. Nothing wrong with that, but if you don't want to make all that traffic, you can do it right here in your home. So let's see, I don't want to leave you thinking. The moving wall is going to be in Gadsden. The Vietnam Wall is going to be in Gadsden the 11th through the 15th. And so make sure you get up there to see that. So we got to go. This week's salute going out with all those that have assisted and they're helping out during the Law Enforcement Week as we enter into it right now. We'll see you next week here on Veterans Issues, and this salute's for you. We're gone.